Hey guys, I am here 4 weeks post breast reduction, and as you can see, I am much smaller. I was very surprised to find out that my surgeon removed almost 2 pounds of breast tissue, and I pretty much immediately felt the difference on my back. In this video, I thought I would take it outside to my back porch and just sit and talk to you a little bit about my experience with breast reduction. I want to start off this section of the video by stating that every hospital and region is going to have a different process for the way surgery goes, but I thought I would share with you what my experience was like in Ontario, Canada. So I was given an option for my surgery dates, as I had mentioned in a previous video, and I chose the quickest date that I could get. I didn't find out until the day before what time my surgery was actually going to be at. And luckily for me, I was to arrive at the hospital at like 8:15, if I remember correctly. So we got there bright and early, my husband and I, and we registered at the hospital. I immediately went in and basically put on a hospital gown, which was probably the most difficult part of the entire day because I couldn't quite figure it was a two-piece outfit, and it took me a long time to put it on. We got moved into a waiting room where we sat and we waited for what felt like a very long time. And one of my strongest memories of that part of the day is how bad my back hurt sitting there, because you have to completely disrobe. So I wasn't wearing a bra or anything like that, and my back was just killing me going into it. So finally a nurse called me. The nurse took my history and gave me an IV. She weighed me, she took my height, and then I was walked back to the waiting room to wait some more. So I think I waited probably about 2 hours before actually being brought up to the OR. And that felt like a really long wait because I didn't have my phone, I didn't have anything with me. I just had my husband there to talk to and keep me company. Surprisingly, I did not feel nervous during the entire process. I was so ready to have this done that all I felt was excited and eager to be on the other side. Finally, my name got called to go up to the operating room. So a nurse took me up to the operating waiting room where I sat and I waited some more. Finally, I met with the anesthesiologist who asked me if I had any questions, which I didn't really have any questions. I just wanted to express to him that I was a little stressed out about the thought of possibly waking up during surgery, and he assured me that that was not possible. So that kind of put my mind at ease. And honestly, the way that a lot of the healthcare providers there this might not come off right, but they're so nonchalant about it. Like, it just seems like their everyday procedure, because it is. They're used to doing it every day. That actually really put me at ease because it just was like second nature to him. He does this all the time. So I felt pretty good after talking to him. And then my surgeon came in and she took me into a private room where, again, she asked me if I had any questions and just went over what my goal was with my surgery. And again, my goal was to go from an H cup to, my ideal was a C cup, but I would also be happy with a B. I definitely didn't want to be over a C cup if possible. So she had me take off my gown and she drew all of the markings all over me in a very smelly marker. I remember I was very hungry at that point because I hadn't eaten since the night before. So the smell and the room was hot and I was like, oh gosh, I just can't wait for this to be over. So finally she lifted me up and did all of her drawings and her markings. And as a person who sews and designs sewing patterns, I couldn't help but thinking, oh, it's like she's drawing a dart there. So yeah, I got all marked up and then I had to wait a little bit longer. And then finally, a very nice nurse came in and told me it was my time to go back to the operating room. And the operating room really is kind of like it is in TV shows. It's just a big, bright room with a table right in the middle where you lay down. And one thing I was not prepared for is they actually strap your arms and your legs down. So it didn't bother me. I just didn't realize that that was something that happens. The anesthesiologist came in and he told me he was just going to give me something in my IV for pain. And then the next thing I know, I was waking up in the recovery room. So I woke up in the recovery room and there was a very nice nurse telling me to take some deep breaths because I was breathing kind of shallow, but otherwise I was doing great. I think I spent a total of maybe half an hour in recovery just because I was breathing a little bit shallow, likely from the pain medication that they gave me. She asked me to rate my pain on a scale from 1 to 10. I said it was about a 6. She gave me some pain medication in my IV and it brought it down to about a 3. I eventually was wheeled into the second recovery room where I got to meet with my husband and put on my surgical bra. And it was funny, the nurse said the very first thing I said as soon as I opened my eyes was, "Can I look at my boobs?" And I opened up my gown and I was just like, they're so tiny. And even my husband said the minute that, I don't remember a lot of this, but he said the minute that he walked into the recovery room, I was like, "Dan, come look at my boobs. They're so small." I just wanted to show them off to everyone. I was so happy. So another nurse gave us some home care instructions. And then basically we were sent on our way. So we got in the car, Dan brought the car around for me and I got in and I brought my surgical pillow, which was awesome to have on the way home. We stopped at Tim Hortons because I was starving and I ate a bagel and I drank some tea and I don't remember the rest of the trip home.
I am leaving the hospital. I have very small boobs now and I feel surprisingly good. Other than being I definitely feel dopey from all the medication. And I'm very hungry because I haven't eaten since last night. So we're gonna get Tim Hortons and go home.
The first few days after surgery, I really needed to have somebody with me all the time, pretty much. I wasn't in a lot of pain, but I felt very bruised and very swollen and I had very limited range of motion. So even though I felt okay, I couldn't really get myself a glass of water or anything like that. So I had my best friend come up for the first day and we hung out on the couch and she got me snacks and drinks all day and we watched that 90s show, which was wonderful for the state of mind I was in at the time. And then the next day was the weekend, so my husband was home with me. And then by the Monday, I was feeling really good. So it was about 4 days and I was feeling good enough to be home on my own, basically. So I was really surprised to find out that my surgeon had me stay in my dressings for 2 weeks. So I had gauze and then it was covered in this plastic wrap. It was basically plastic wrap that was sticky. So on one hand, it was awesome because I could shower and get it wet and the plastic wrap really clung on quite tight. But the annoying part of it is that it was very itchy. It was very uncomfortable. And I did have some bleeding and I wasn't sure what to do with the dressings. They looked really gross, but my surgeon's office assured me that as long as I wasn't excessively bleeding, that some blood on the dressings was fine. I get my surgical dressings removed next week, and I have to say this is probably the most uncomfortable thing of my post-reduction recovery is dealing with having these bandages on for 2 weeks. It is so flippin' itchy. I can't even describe it. It is itchy to the point where I find I'm trying to pinch myself to fix the itch. Oh my goodness, my hair looks terrible because I can't really lift my arms up to fix it. Yeah, that's it. I just had to get on here and complain a little bit, and I've got 1 more week of wearing these bandages, and I don't know how much longer I have to wear this surgical bra. I'm getting pretty sick of it though. So I got my dressings off 2 weeks to the day after my surgery, and that felt amazing. One of the other nice things about having the dressings on for so long is that when the surgeon took them off, most of my incisions had pretty much healed externally. So I had a few kind of scab areas that were still healing, but for the most part, it was clean, it was closed, and they looked amazing. I wanted to cry the day that I saw them. So now that I have had my dressings off for has it been 2 weeks now? It'll be 2 weeks this week, 4 weeks since my surgery. I was kind of reflecting on the things that I found really helpful during those first few days of after my surgery. And for sure, ice packs. I got these really great gel ice packs from the dollar store, and they were amazing. It just helped with that swollen, bruised feeling. The other thing that was really helpful was having a step stool. I'm so glad I picked this up kind of last minute from, again, just got a little one from the dollar store. You likely probably already have one in your house somewhere. It was great because number one, I'm very short, and number two, I couldn't lift my arms. So getting any dishes out of my cupboard was really challenging, but the stool allowed me to get up just that extra bit of height so that I didn't have to raise my arms up over my head. I did use my surgical pillow quite a lot the first couple of days. I just felt like hugging something close to me really helped me feel a little bit more secure. I was really worried about my dog jumping up and bumping on me, or my toddler. So it was nice to have that barrier between me and everybody else. And the last thing that I 100% highly recommend getting is one of those big U-shaped body pillows. I had one from when I was pregnant with my last daughter, and it's great because you can't sleep on your stomach, you can't sleep on your side, you have to sleep on your back. And I could just kind of like cocoon myself in there, and it was so comfortable. So overall, am I happy? Yes, 100% yes. I am thrilled with the results. I literally just want to show everybody. My back pain is so much better. Things like just making dinner, like working over a cutting board, chopping vegetables. By the end of making dinner, when I would sit down, my back would just be so sore. I was in so much pain over the most basic things. And I was really worried that I was going to get out of the surgery and still have the same pains. And I don't. Those simple things like sewing or chopping vegetables or even just like going for a walk, I don't get that strain in my mid back that I used to have, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm incredibly grateful that I was able to get it done. And I'm incredibly grateful to my surgeon who helped me so much with my back pain. And also just like, I feel so much more confident now. I feel like this is just the way I'm supposed to look. And I would highly recommend, if you are experiencing pain from a larger chest, that you talk to your family doctor and get a referral to a surgeon, because it's only been 4 weeks and my life feels immensely better. Thank you so much for watching and following along and cheering me on this journey. I'm so glad I did it, and it was so helpful to have everybody's support. Thanks again. Bye. Oh my God, I'm such a mess. Sorry, Leah has decided to come and join us for this video.